you're there, say something, buddy. If not, we can kill a little bit of time before you jump
I'm
on.
here. I'm here, man.
All right, Zach. Well, man, I appreciate you jumping on here. Steve, I'll let you run with this. I can't wait to take some notes, bunch of nuggets, gold nuggets here coming from Zach. So I'm going to stop sharing the screen and Steve, take over, my man.
All right, Rob. Well, first, I want to congratulate you and Rena on getting married this past weekend. So congratulations to you. That is impressive.
Thanks,
so we look forward to big things there. My man, Zach, how you doing today, brother?
Awesome, man. Can't be better. How about you guys?
We're great, dude. Thank you so much for joining us. I wanted to, number one, we'll introduce you. So board member, or did you hit senior board member yet?
Not senior board member yet, but soon.
You're pushing. Close. You're really close. What did you guys do last month? Like 1.6?
Yeah, we did 175 last month.
Wow. Impressive. So been with FFL for what, about 3 years, right? I lose you. You there?
Yep. Yeah.
Okay.
3 years.
3 years. Okay. Gotcha. So
you got me?
I want to go through your, okay, cool. I want to go through your evolution because you are one of the most impressive stories in the sense that you sold at a tremendous high level early on and now have transitioned into building this massive business. So I kind of want to go back a little bit on the selling side. Some of the tips and tricks and things that you did early on that now you pass on to your new agents to be, I think you were a 3-time Hall of Famer. So some of those little things that you can to pass on to our new agents.
Yeah, I think because everyone's like, did you start fast? I'm like, I didn't. I started really slow here, right? And one thing I try to get everyone to understand is if you are able to work consistently with what we do and put the numbers in your favor to such an extreme degree, then anyone can be successful doing this at a high level, right? Like you don't have to be some crazy polished or even good salesperson to have a lot of success here. But if you're not that, which most of us aren't, right, Steve? Otherwise, we'd be doing something else. Like if you're a crazy good salesperson, you could probably make a lot of money doing something else. So if you're not that, just understand that you're not, and then figure out what you have to do to make the numbers work for you. And that's what I understood early on. Like I was watching a lot of people who had, good sales backgrounds, right? And let's see, am I cutting out on you guys still, or can you hear me okay?
No, we hear you good.
You do? Okay, cool. It looked like I was freezing. So I watched a lot of people and I use this example a lot, and it's not any detriment to them, but it's just they were a lot better at this than I was when I started because they'd experience. But I watched, Matt Smith and Paul McLean when I started. They were doing a lot of the training, right? Because when I started, we didn't have that many people killing it. There was my first year of Hall of Fame, there was 11 of us, right? And I was the 11th one. I hit 400,000 and $8. There was barely hit it. But what I realized is these guys were they were really good sales, and I wasn't as good. But I also realized on the other side of the coin, they were running about 15 appointments a week. So I was like, I think I can make up what I lack in skill by getting really good on the phone and having really high activity sustained over a long period of time. Because there's a lot of good sales stuff out there, and it's all great and it all works. But if you can understand that if anyone in the world will close about 25% of the people you sit with, even if you really suck at this, right? And I can attest that that's how I was. But I started doing some math on it. And I'm like, if I can run 1,200 appointments for the year or 1,400 appointments for the year, if I only close 25%, I'm going to hit Hall of Fame, right? So then my attitude shifted from figuring out how to 120 a month and then, 150 a year, basically. And once I figured that out, then I realized that it's basically a cheat code to have really good activity. That's what I started understanding. This business is really simple. Before that, I wanted it to be all this, this cute stuff that I had to learn as far as different, word tracks, all this stuff. And when it just became about me just having really good activity, then I kind of took the cap off of it for myself and realized that that's really replicatable because you don't have to be good if you work hard. And the other example I want to use on this, Steve, is in 2019, I believe it was, in the Southeast, which at the time was the biggest group, and it's not now, but it was at the time the biggest group in the company. I was never the number one submit agent. I was only the number one submit agent 1 week out of the year, and I was never the number one issue paid agent for the year, any month in the year. But I was at the end of the year the number one issue paid agent, and it wasn't because I was good. It's just because I wrote 10 to 15 grand every week, and I never took my foot off the gas. So I think if people can understand that they need to get really good lead flow and have a consistent schedule, that it'll take all the stress emotionally off of you and financially off of you, because you won't ride this roller coaster. There won't be big income weeks and no income weeks. If you write 10 to 15 grand every single week, like clockwork, you'll have a very consistent and predictable income. And then you won't have all the emotional stress that goes along with this business. And it's nice to know you don't have to be good to do that. All you have to do is get good at booking good appointments and being good at showing up and having a good attitude and having the mindset you want to take care of people.
Love that. One of the things that I think you really pioneered was travel trips, because they were kind of a thing, but they weren't a big thing. And I know you did a lot. You've moved different spots of the country. You know, what was your thought process when you started traveling? And why did you start traveling?
My initial thought process was that when I was in South Carolina at the time, and there was a lot of agents down there. And when I first started, we only really had mortgage protection leads, you know, see our new and old mortgage protection leads. And there was some Facebook leads, but it wasn't really like cranking yet. And we didn't have internet leads. So I was either going to have to run only Facebook final expense leads and like old mortgage leads, because I couldn't get my hands on any counties at the time that were near me, or I could do some travel trips. So I started going to Ohio. So that was the mindset behind it, is I just needed more leads. But what I realized was I really learned and started taking it very seriously when I was on travel trips, because there's more pressure now, right? You're going across the country, right? I'm spending 3, 4, 5 days away from my wife at a time. And if I come back and don't do well, then I had to explain to her what the point of that was, right? So it added a little bit of pressure, and it really made me put everything into action that I already knew, because I'd heard it all in the trainings, but I wasn't doing it because I didn't have that much pressure. Then all of a sudden, when I had to make it work, because there was more leads coming in, more lead expense, travel expense now, and then time away from my wife, dude, I started implementing everything. And I think the same concept happens a lot. Like, you guys do Zoom dials, right?
Yep.
So what I've noticed is sometimes there's agents who you tell over and over again what to say on the phone, and they don't do it. And then the second you throw them on Zoom dials and have them be the dialer, magically they start doing it, because they don't want to look dumb in front of everyone else. And I think that's the same thing that happened to me. I started taking it a lot more seriously and started implementing everything I knew, because I didn't want to mess up and have to, you know, come back home, you know, my tail tucked between my legs, so to speak, and not have written any business. And I started doing all this intentional stuff, dude. Like, I remember the first flight out there, I went through on a notebook the whole flight and broke down exactly how I wanted my in-home to be structured and go. Because I was like, dude, I got to make sure this is like locked up and ready to roll. And then at end of every night, I would go back through and like kind of go through my appointments and figure out what I missed, what I didn't miss. If I didn't know what I screwed up, I'd call someone who knew. And I started being crazy intentional with my my time and my appointments. And then all of a sudden I went from doing 10, 15 a month to 30 and never really looked back. So I mean, the reason I did travel trips was out of necessity for leads, but it ended up adding so many more benefits. It made me more disciplined. It made me better with my schedule. It made me really be efficient with my time. And then I was able to carry that same thing back into when I was running local, and I started writing a lot more business on a consistent basis. The other thing I think that travel trips did was I was able to travel out to certain areas, and I wasn't the best recruiter in the world, but I could meet with someone. I'd go to this. I'm not even kidding. This is how I recruited people in the beginning when I first started hiring. I'd meet with someone in that area. I'd go, hey, Steve, I have this lead that I was running mortgage at the time, right? I go, hey, I just met with one of your neighbors. They live like 10 minutes from here. I show them the lead. I go, I wrote this guy for 2,000 AP, and I'm going to get paid like $2,000 from it, like tomorrow. And wouldn't it be easier for you to do it since you live here than me fly into your backyard and pick up checks all over where you live? And people be like, that does make sense. And I'm like, dude, I wasn't a good recruiter, but it was an easy way for me to recruit, is go meet with people and show them the lead that's in their backyard, you know? And then so we started hiring people in those areas, and then I was able to give my leads away to those people, and they were able to grow a business in their backyard, because they would use some of the mortgage leads, then they'd mix in internet leads and Facebook leads. And I used to have leads in Columbus, Indianapolis, Cincinnati, and Dayton, right? And then I've given all those leads away to new agents now. And then last month, that agency that those leads are in, that's the bulk of that agency, did $600,000 last month. So yeah, it sucked early on when I was traveling back and forth and getting a lot of leads, but then it turned into a very profitable business for us too. So I mean, the only reason I started travel trips was just to get myself more leads, but it added a lot more benefits outside of that just small piece that I saw early on.
That's amazing. So one thing that I think you do a great job of is your mindset. So in my time talking with you and kind of seeing, you know, the things that you put out there, it just seems that you have a solid mindset, and you just kind of go for it, and you have no fear, or at least from what it appears. How do you manage mindset, and then how do you try and translate that to your new agents?
Yeah, so that was a big struggle for me early on, dude, because when I came into this business, I was pretty negative and I was doubting it a lot, especially coming from the background where like I've told a lot of people this, but my dad's a doctor, right? My mom's a nurse practitioner. My wife's in medical school. My little sister's in medical school. I have a couple uncles that are doctors, and then my wife's twin sister's in medical school. So like, that's like the path, right? That's the path. So I was like doing this other thing, and I was really unsure about it. As in insurance, I was unsure about it, and I was pretty negative. I'm like, dude, this isn't going to work out. Like, if it worked out, why would my family not do it? They seem pretty smart. So I was very negative early on. So I had to work really hard on mindset stuff. So early at like the beginning of the business, I used to listen to Paul McLean's Monday morning wake up call every Monday, like it was church on Sunday, dude. And it was, Paul McLean's mindset on Monday. And then I started doing little things, like I started waking up early. I started waking up, like when I first started, dude, I probably was waking up at 8 a.m., like legit 8 a.m. It's pretty bad, right? Then I got to like 6 a.m. and then I got to 5 a.m. And then I was a college athlete, right? So I used to work out all the time in college. And then sometimes when you're in that setting, you kind of cut back on it and you're like, I don't know, dude, I worked out every day at 5 a.m. for 4 years. I'm kind of good. So I got back in that habit where I started working out and then doing, something in the morning for my mind, whether it was read 10 pages of a book, listen to some sort of podcast. And then I was always listening to stuff that like Sean and Paul and these other guys would say. And the reason for that is I knew I was really negative because someone pointed it out one day. They were like, you always go like, what if, and then insert some sort of negative thing, Like I was always like, what if I go on this travel trip and I don't sell anything? They're like, you need to work on what if and then insert a positive thing. Otherwise, you're not going to make it in this industry because you're going to just psych yourself out. So whenever someone said that to me, I started working on it. And then I still do it because it became a habit where I still wake up. I wake up at 4:30. And the first thing I do in the morning, dude, I have a reminder on my phone at 4:30 that says, remember, someone else is starting today that needs to pay their mortgage. So the first thing I think about in the morning is, all right, there's some new agent who's starting with us today, and it's my responsibility to give them all of my effort and all the tools they need to have success here. So right off the bat, it's not about me, right? And then first thing after I do that is I write out 5 things that I'm grateful for. So usually it's like, I'm grateful I have a great wife. I'm grateful I'm a part of this amazing company. I'm grateful I have good mentorship. Whatever 5 things I wake up and think of that I'm grateful for, so but between 4:30 and 4:45, I'm thinking about I need to help someone. And what am I grateful for today? And then I head to the gym right away. And like, that's my routine. I do it every day, dude. It does Monday through Sunday, every single day, same thing. And then that starts off my day great. What I used to do though, is I used to wake up and check all my emails. I'd check my commission statements, and some days that'd be great. Some days you'd have a chargeback. Some days you wake up and have a bunch of cancellation emails. And once I stopped doing that and stopped focusing on that stuff, then I started making a lot more money because it wasn't about me just making money all of a sudden. But dude, it took a lot of work for me because I had to do that. And I just explained to everyone, like, if you're a naturally positive person, you're going to have to watch out for it more because you're positive. So you're going to have to keep it there. For me, I know that my natural state is a bit negative. So I just have to do it every day to keep me where I'm at. Otherwise, I'll backslide.
Wow. That right there, bottle that up, everybody, because I think you recognizing you have to work on it every day is just such a key thing. And everybody can do that. I know myself included. It's something that I work on constantly. So yeah. Now you're writing at a high level, you're traveling, you're hiring. When did the switch go off to say, hey, I need to transition this into a big business?
I think it was almost the first 2 years I was here. I didn't really like build at all. And then I remember I didn't start taking it seriously until I saw people like, so Sean did his integrity deal. And then I saw the next group, I think they closed theirs in like February of the following year I think it was 2020 or 2019. I can't remember, but I think it was 2020, right?
Yeah.
Is when everyone else. Yeah. So they all closed theirs in 2020. And that's when I started taking it seriously. And not even so much that it was about me, but I remember Sean saying something like, hey, if you're not growing and building and really exploding this thing, everyone else on your team is probably not going to have a shot to get a deal. And that struck me because we were doing like 150 grand, 200 grand a month. And I have some amazing people I work with. And I'm like, damn, if I don't lead the way and make it happen for our group, then I'm really like not allowing the people that are also on our team to have the opportunity and the chance and the example to get there as well. So then I was like, I'm going to go all in the rest of this year and do everything I can to put our agency in the opportunity to have an integrity deal. but it was almost more because I wanted like Easton and Kyle and Jake and these other guys on our team to also have that opportunity. And I know by me not giving everything I had that they wouldn't have a shot probably either, or at least I would be delaying their opportunity. Hopefully they would figure it out and go around me, but they really wouldn't have a shot if I didn't, give it everything I had and really put 100% effort into this. So I kind of made a decision. I'm like, I'm going to give this everything I have because I'd rather try really hard and fail than be the guy in 30 years that was like, man, I was part of this really awesome company. All these people made a lot of money and set their future families up. And I just kind of sat there on the sideline. So like what I did is I started thinking about it, dude. I was like, okay, so I don't have kids now, but I have my wife. She's in medical school. Wouldn't it be really cool if by the time she graduates, she spends like 300 grand on medical school, right? Because it's a lot of money to go to medical school. Like, wouldn't it be great if we had all that money paid off? And then wouldn't it be great when I have kids if I'm able to go to all their stuff? And then wouldn't it be really cool if I was able to help like Easton and these other guys get to that same spot where they can do amazing things for their family too? And then after that, I just made the decision, I'm going to give it everything I got. And if it doesn't work out, at least I tried, rather than being the guy that didn't even try and just was like, because everyone's heard that guy, right? I would have been a D1 quarterback, but I hurt my elbow. It's like, dude, shut up. No one cares, right? Like, you obviously didn't even try. So I didn't want to be that guy. I wouldn't want to be the guy at the barbecue, like, sitting there with a beer belly and drinking Miller Lite, be like, I could have gave that a shot and been a millionaire, but I didn't really try as hard as I could have. So I made that shift. And then at that same time, I had one staff. I hired another staff when I didn't really have the money to. I hired a recruiter, dude, and I paid, and she's good. She knew what she was doing. I paid her like 75 grand a year. And I'm like, I had like $7,500 in my bank account at that time, probably because I was spending all this money and not even on the business, but also on other dumb stuff. Right. And I was like, I'm going to go all in. So I started working every day for the rest of the year. I'd run appointments Saturday, Sunday. And then if I didn't get the 15 grand over the weekend, I'd run again on Wednesday, like about 5 appointments. And the rest of the time I was just in the office, recruiting, hiring, working with my staff and working with all my agents who are out in the field, working with their agents to help them get up and running. And I did that. I worked every day from that February all the way through October when I finally got out of the field. And I still work every day now, but I'm not like in the field. I'm just answering, answering phone calls, helping agents out, doing calls like this and that sort of thing. But I'm glad I did that. I'm glad I sacrificed last year to go all in to make it to where now we're growing and we have a lot of other agents that are just kind of following the same blueprint and growing at the same speed and even faster.
Nice. Yeah, that's awesome, bro. So now, we have a lot of new agents and we have new agents that are, starting to get going, trying to figure it out on the sales side. And a lot of times on this call, we don't dive into the hiring side, but I want to a little bit with you for this reason. If you're a new agent on this call and trying to figure it out, what are some of the things that you preach to your new agents who actually, they have a little inkling of like, hey, I want to build, but they're trying to figure stuff out. And how do you do it in a way that you don't overload them?
Yeah, I go, because early on we were like, everyone needs to hire right away. And now I go, hey, if you don't want to hire right away, it's okay. But just understand, like, if you don't want to hire right away, you're going to be a really good, really high paid salesperson for your entire career, which will be great. You'll make hundreds of thousands of dollars a year, but you're going to get capped out at some point. You can only sell so much insurance for so long before you're kind of burnt out on it. So that's what you want to do. That's great. If you want to build later on, that's great. But a lot of people tell us that they wish they had early on. So let me know. And I kind of leave it at that, right? And then a lot of our training, people say that and they reach back out and they go, hey, I kind of want to start building. I don't have a lot of capital yet. What should I do? And the best thing you can do is share on your social media what you're doing. You can even go, like, if say you write 5 grand for a week, which is good, right? Like, I know there's a lot of people that write 15, 20, 30 grand, but if you're brand new and you write 5 grand for a week, that's a big deal. Like, don't let that be overlooked. So go, hey Steve, or hey Rob, I wrote 5 grand this week. Can you make a post about me writing 5, 10 grand this week? And then I'll share it. And that way we can start getting into our warm market. So what I have a lot of our guys do is reach out to our social media person and go, hey, I did this week. And it's not an arrogant thing. We're just trying to help you grow, right? Don't think of it like you're showing off or anything, but think of it like who is in a bad financial situation that you know. You don't have to call all your friends and family, but think about who's in a bad financial situation that you know, or that you don't even realize that they are, and is dying for an opportunity. And if you don't let them know about this, they may be stuck where they're at forever. So all you got to do is just have a nice looking post made that someone makes about you, and then you can share it, right? So Steve can go, hey, Bob wrote 10 grand this week, 3rd week in the business. That's really awesome. He's going to make $7,500. And all he did was call some leads to go see some people. And he tags you in it, and then you share it. And then what we see when people do that is they share it and they're introduced to their whole warm market. And then you keep sharing stuff, other success stories, and then people will start reaching out to you. So that's how we've started tapping into people's warm market really quickly, is by just sharing what they're doing, sharing success stories, sharing good stuff that they're doing. Because what I thought when I started hiring, Steve, I was like, if I have to hire warm market, that means I got to go on Facebook and message everyone and get a list of my friends and family and call them all. I don't want to do that because that's like forcing on them. But if you just lay it out there for everyone to see, they'll see the opportunity and then they'll reach out to you and go, hey, I'm interested in this. Who can I talk to get more information? Or, hey, do you have any more information? And then what we do at that point is we go, hey, so Steve, I'm glad you reached out to me. I'm going to, I'm new, I'm doing well, but I'm going to link you up with someone else who can answer your questions. So I'm going to give you, I'm going to send you to Andrew Taylor. Okay. And he's going to talk to you about it. Or like, so say, let's use this example instead, Steve, right? So say you're a brand new agent, you work with Rob and you hire one of your friends. Okay. And you talk to him, you go, hey, I'm just getting started. It's going really well, but I think Rob could answer your questions a lot better. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to send you this video over, the Rogue IMO video. It's going to explain exactly what we do at Family First Life. Once you've done that, let me know. And then I'm going to link you up with Rob and he can answer any additional questions you have. And then Rob can get on and help you hire the person. And you can listen to how he does it, do it 2, 3, 4 times, and then you'll know how to do it. So that's kind of what we do with our new agents to get them hiring right away, if they want to. If they don't want to, we're happy to have you. Go write $600,000, $700,000, $800,000 a year if you want to, and we'll be there to cheer you on and support you in that way too.
Nice. That's awesome. One of the biggest things I learned from you being out there in Vegas last week was how you get new agents started and how you don't let them use, waiting on writing numbers and different things as a crutch. So I kind of wanted you to touch upon that a little bit, how you hire and then bang, get them on the phones with leads in the field.
Yeah. So if I hired you, Steve, I'd go, okay, so if you started a normal traditional job, you would expect to get paid in the next 2 weeks, right? And you go, yeah. I go, okay, cool. So what we're going to do is I need you to submit contracting today. Okay. You're going to have to do E&O insurance. You're going to have to get avoided check, all this stuff. I need you to get all that done today. And then as soon as you're done with that, let me know. Because the goal is to make sure you're getting paid at least within the next 2 weeks. Fair? Because I'm sure your wife expects that. Your kids expect that, correct? You go, yeah. Okay. All right. So I need you to go and get your contracting done today. As soon as you're done with that, let me know. Okay. And then not everyone will do it. But if Steve goes and gets his contracting done, gets everything done, he'll text me. All right, I'm done with that. What now? I'll go, okay, I'm going to send you a link to our new agent website. There's a boot camp on there. There's about 6 steps. I need you to go through all of that. As soon as you're done with that, let me know. And then we're going to get you a lead plan so that you're ready to dial on Thursday. Okay. You should be able to, everyone I've talked to has been able to get that done within a day if they're serious about making money here. Is there any reason you can't get that done by tomorrow? I go, no. Okay, cool. As soon as you get done with that, text me, let me know. So then as soon as he's done with that, he lets me know. I go, okay. So by Thursday, you're going to have one carrier, Prosperity. So you're going to make sure you can log in with them, use all their coding, all that stuff. Then I'm going to get you a bunch of paper applications for Thursday as well, in case we need to use a carrier other than them. There's only 3 things that matter in this business, Steve. Okay. And all it is you have to have enough leads, you have to dial enough, and you have to do some training so you get better in the home. The third one for the first couple of weeks, training, is you're going to call me in the home, and after, I'm going to teach you what to do. And it's going to take all the stress off. You're not going to have to worry about products, because insurance products are state regulated, meaning that it's entirely based off of the client's age and health. So meaning if they have X, Y, and Z health condition, we'll use this carrier. If they have a different one, we'll use this carrier. I know all that stuff, and we have underwriting grids to teach you all that. So you don't have to worry about any of it. All I need you to focus on is getting leads and booking appointments. So what we're going to do now is we're going to jump on the CRM together, look at your area, and I'm going to tell you what leads to get. And then while I'm on the phone with them, I'll have them get their leads. Okay. So now we have their leads. Then I go, okay, so now what I need you to do, tomorrow's Thursday. We have Zoom dials starting at 7:30 and whatever time zone you're on. I need you to get on there at 7:30 and start dialing while you're listening to whoever's dial as well. It'll help you. You'll get to hear how they overcome some rejections. And I need you to be prepared tomorrow to make anywhere from 350 to 700 dials, depending on how long it takes you to book your 15 appointments. And then what I want you to do is after your first 2 hours of dialing, shoot me a call or whatever manager you're working with a call. Let them know how you're going. I need you to have prepared for them how many people you dialed, how many leads you had, how many people picked up the phone, how many appointments you set, because that'll give us a good idea on what we need to tweak. And they'll go, okay. And then all I'm doing through this whole process is seeing how quick they get back to me and everything. Some people will take a week to do contracting. They're not dead to me, but I'm just moving on to the next one right away, right? Some people will get through the training right away and then go, I'm not ready to buy leads yet. I'm like, okay, cool. Let me know when you're ready. And I'm just looking for the people, the aces, right? The ones that get through it all exactly when I tell them to. I know I'm working with. And then there's a lot of controversy, I think, throughout the company on who you buy leads for. For me, it's if everyone gets through all the stuff right when I tell them to get through it, then I'll help them out with leads if they're going to be a good fit. If they take 3-4 months to get everything done, dude, there's literally no chance of buying you leads. And I tell them that up front. If you can get through all this stuff right away, I'll help you out with some leads and throw some fuel on the fire, because to me, it shows me you're serious. If it takes you a week to finish contracting, again, you can still work here, and we're happy to have you, but I'm not going to throw a lot of time and money into you to help you get started if you're not going to take this very seriously.
Wow, I love that. It's just so direct, and you're not wasting time. Like, and
right.
That's why you're working with people that are, you told me you had 30 writers over 30K or something like that. That's why.
Over 20. Yeah. But yeah.
20. Yeah. That's amazing, bro. So last parting shot, don't want to keep you. I know you're a very busy guy. What would you say, to new agents starting out would be your, biggest piece of advice in addition to everything you've already given us?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing is you're going to watch a lot of sales training. There's a lot of good information out there, but you're best to err on the side of being very presumptive in the home and keeping it simple. A lot of people throw a lot of stuff out there who are really good at sales, but the simpler you can keep it and the more assumptive, the better when you're in the home. And all you need to focus on is making sure you have enough leads. That means as many leads as it takes you to get 15 appointments every 2 days, dialing the phone like crazy. So starting at 7:30 a.m., whatever time zone you're on, and dialing until you have your 15 appointments, and then training, getting on calls like this, find someone you can relate to and copy their in-home, copy their phone script until you get to the point where you're writing 20, 30 grand a month. Then you can start throwing your own flavor in it. But if you start trying to change everything based on what you think will work before you're doing well, it's going to be a long road for you. But if you can just copy the people that are having success right away, it'll simplify this process for you and you'll have a lot of success right away.
Awesome, bro. We really appreciate you. Had a great time with you last week. Learned a ton. Thank you so much. Anything you need, reach out.
Thank you guys for having me on, and let's make it another record week, guys. You guys are crushing it, and let's keep the momentum going. The biggest mistake you can make after a record week is to go take the week off or let your foot off the gas. So if you have a record week, build momentum on it, keep crushing it, but don't take a step back, because that's what our natural human instinct is, take a step back. So y'all keep killing it, and I'm sure you guys you'll be at $1 million a month in no time, Steve, and Rob will be at 2, and you guys will be on your way to integrity deals, and so will everyone else in your team. So don't let up, guys. Let's keep going.
Thanks, brother.
Thanks, Zach. Appreciate it.
Thanks, Zach.
Thank you, guys.
Dude, that was the best interview we've ever had. That was so direct and straightforward. We can do some Q&A, but I'd almost encourage people just to rewatch this interview again and to take notes.
Yeah, definitely.
Marco, can you get this loaded up like ASAP? All right, cool. Yeah, I mean, it's up on Facebook Live now. Steve, unless there's something that you want to cover specifically, I'd say let's just rewatch the pieces of this. He gave so much and so quickly. There's no way everybody absorbed all of it. I know the next 30 minutes, I'm just going to go rewatch this because I just felt there were so many gems in there. Is there anything you want to touch on, Steve? Just any housekeeping, sales stuff, any training that you want to do?
Just say last 2 days of the month, get with carriers and get stuff issued. I would
absolutely.
Them, email them, call them, hound them. If you need any help from any of us, call us. But Moo has started issuing a little bit quicker.
Yeah,
I think they're about 4 or 5 days, which is good. So I would just do that, and then let's go to work.
All right, guys. Well, look, I appreciate you jumping on. This was a great interview. Please absorb all of the information you possibly can from the last 25 minutes. And thanks again for all of your hard work, your participation every week. Let's get to work, and we'll see you next week.